These five mental traps don't destroy you overnight, but they can keep you stuck for years. Hi guys, my name is Isha and today we are uncovering five brutal mental traps we all fall into at some point. Traps that keep us stuck, distracted, or emotionally shut down. So let's start with the first mental trap that we feel is feeling behind everyone around us. You may be in your 20s or 30s, still figuring out your life, while people of your age are getting married, starting their own businesses, or building successful families or careers. And you start feeling that you are lagging behind everyone in your age group or generation. Then you begin telling yourself certain lies that everyone has their own timing, that you are not smart or privileged enough, or that others have better resources or support system and are better equipped to handle life. But deep down, you know there is something not aligning at your level to move your life forward. Meaning, you yourself are delaying your success, your progress, and your own destiny. How? We often tell ourselves, when this happens, then I will do this, or when I get this, then I will act on that. And by doing so, now we keep postponing our chances, our opportunities in life. Okay, like when I will have confidence, then I will go to gym. When I have a clear picture of how it is going to be, then I will make a decision to move forward. When I feel motivated, then I will start this project. Waiting for the perfect timing or that perfect moment keeps us stuck exactly where we are. And this is how we start feeling behind everyone our age. We have created a myth that life first must be understood, then lived. But in reality, life must first be lived and then we start understanding it better. People who are ahead of you move forward despite that confusion, that uncertainty, and fear of the unknown. Okay, so the day you decide that from today, from now, I take ownership of my life and choose to take all the chances, decisions, and actions required from my end, is the day you stop feeling behind everyone. Taking ownership and responsibility for your life, no matter what phase you are in, is what changes everything. And secondly, now we get so obsessed with our potential now that when we face the reality, it feels very small compared to what our life could be. We put our potential on pedestal and start devaluing ourselves and the process of reaching our highest potential too. Okay, but until we learn to respect and enjoy the process of becoming our higher self, we will always feel behind everyone, no matter how much you achieve. Okay, so there are no shortcuts here. No luck or talent can replace this. Only consistency and sustained effort can take you where you want to be. But our mind has made consistency and effort like a punishment. And which is why we stay motivated for a short time and then we collapse, falling into guilt, comparison, and then self hate, repeating the same cycle again and again. And moreover, now our own expectations drags us behind. We create those unrealistic expectations that we want everything fixed within a year. But the truth is, progress is repetitive, it is invisible, it is thankless. When you don't receive those validation or recognition within those 6 months or so, now your mind starts struggling to handle this reality. And then we leave the goal midway, switching to another one. And this way, we keep jumping from one goal to another without finishing any of them. And then we say that we are lagging behind people our age. We feel behind because we are not taking the authority of our life. We are just reading other people's stories instead of writing our own. And then we start comparing our life with milestones. But the truth is, na, we don't need to fix our life. We just need to own it. Okay, then we need to learn how to commit to work and achieve our goals even in the absence of motivation or excitement, without those external validations, appreciations, and guarantees. Only then do we truly own our life and stop comparing our timelines with others. The people you are comparing yourself with, now they're also comparing themselves with those ahead of them. but they do not use it as a reason to stop or get stuck. Okay? In reality, you are not behind everyone. You have just paused your life, and the moment you start moving, even slowly, the feeling of being behind begins to dissolve on its own. Remember, you are not last in the race, you are just not on the track yet. So, accept where you are in your life right now, and from here, choose to own your life. Okay? And now comes the second mental trap, which is, are you really healing or just distracting yourself? You might say to yourself that you are on your healing journey because you are focusing on your work, taking care of your routine, sleeping on time, eating right, keeping yourself busy, believing that you have moved on from your past traumas, hurt, betrayals, and so on. Yes, this is partially right. But you are not healing from the root. You have just muted your pain by staying busy, running away from it, and keeping your pain on silent mode. So you have not actually resolved it, and this muted pain will show up again when the time comes. Tell me, are there any moments in your life when you're just sitting with yourself despite your busy schedule? Those periods of silence when the external noise is quiet enough for you to hear your inner voice, when those old feelings start resurfacing, and instead of ignoring them, you start acknowledging them and giving them closure with understanding and kindness. Time heals everything is not always true. Sometimes the time just suppresses those inner wounds until we take those conscious steps and actions to heal them. And that is why now we see so many people around us who are deeply depressed, not because they are not growing with time, but because they are avoiding their pain with time. And that is why everything sometimes bursts like a volcano when emotions are suppressed for too long. And you know what? Our mind is too smart. It just knows exactly how to keep us distracted. So when we feel sad, we go to gym. When we feel anxious, we work harder. When we feel alone, we start mingling with others. Yet, even among people, we still have that feeling of loneliness because something inside us is asking for attention, for healing. But we keep numbing ourselves instead of acknowledging it. And by doing all this now, we think that we have become strong people. Why? Because now we are not crying anymore. We are not sharing our feelings or frustrations with anyone. We are going to work, talking to people, even laughing. So, how can we be sad or depressed? But being strong does not mean killing your emotions. It means acknowledging your emotions and sadness and still choosing to move forward with life. You do not bypass your emotions to become strong. Merely accepting that you felt neglected, rejected, or you are scared of being alone. Accepting your own mistakes instead of staying in denial mode. Acknowledging the pain of feeling unwanted or not being able to meet your own expectations. Have you truly sat with yourself and asked what is actually wrong with you? No, we usually don't because we are scared. Once we start getting answers to all these questions, now we have to take the responsibility for ourselves. And maybe that is why we are running away from owning our emotions and our own well being. Running away from the past and not processing the past to resolve things are two different things. Running away simply means suppressing it, which will definitely start showing up in your behavior over time. And if left unresolved, now it can even become your identity. Okay, you must have heard people saying things like, oh, he's an angry man or she's a sad person, because now it has become their identity. Okay, signs like overreacting to small things and then calling yourself sensitive, they are not random. In reality, there was already so much inside you that needed resolution, and that one small thing just triggered it. Okay, you may also either get over attached or completely detached, unable to create that balance. Either you are irritated or you are completely numb. These are the sign of unhealed parts of you asking for attention, but you keep ignoring them by giving yourself those dopamine hits, those intense workouts, staying excessively busy, calling it productivity or self improvement. Healing is more about understanding your patterns, how you choose the wrong person again and again, how you cross your own boundaries repeatedly to be accepted or validated by others. It is about accepting your own role in creating that pain and hurt. And let me tell you, it is not easy because it bruises our ego. Healing is boring, it is slow, it is uncomfortable. You have to sit with yourself without your phone or music and start reading your own patterns. And yes, initially your brain is going to overreact, but with time it will start processing what happened. Okay, keep asking yourself again and again, what is making me feel sad? Not just I am sad. Sad for what? Is it rejection, loneliness, failure, fear, or comparison? Just giving these feelings names and clarity helps a lot. Okay? Write down your triggers. Situations when you feel more disturbed. The type of behaviors that make you feel angry or frustrated. And the moments when you distracted yourself excessively. These patterns are not random. They are the map of your emotional history. And unless you understand this map, you will keep coming back to the same place, the same emotional level. And healing does not mean that you will never get hurt or sad again. Of course, you will. But you will not be scared of it anymore. You will know that you can handle it and you will not run away from it this time. Okay, now the third brutal truth about our mind is we secretly enjoy being sad. Why? You must have observed in yourself that when nothing is wrong in your life, you still listen to sad or melancholic songs to make yourself feel sad or depressed. And when you try to dig deeper now, nothing is actually bothering you. Our sadness is not random thing. It is a familiar thing to our mind. And whatever is familiar feels safe to our mind. Okay. And that's why we do not want to leave it. Okay, so by feeding yourself with those sad thoughts or those sad songs, now you say that I feel off these days, and then we start using this sadness as a shield to avoid taking responsibility for our life, for our failures in any phase. Okay, and people also stop expecting anything from us because we have made sadness or being depressed our default state. Okay, definitely in the past, there might have been a time when you were actually sad or depressed, but then your mind became addicted to that state. So, being happy, stable, or at peace with your life starts feeling unnatural. Okay, when life begins to get better now, you feel discomfort because sadness was a known territory to you. Okay, and moreover, now being sad does not take away any effort from your side. Okay, but taking responsibility for your mood, for your feeling does. That requires effort. So you choose sadness over these unknown territories and the struggles that might take you somewhere else. Okay, you also keep running from understanding yourself because once you start knowing yourself now, you need to make effort to change, and changing ourselves is one of the most difficult tasks. So unconsciously you choose being sad or depressed, as in no risk, no failures involved. But in the long run if you keep romanticizing your sadness or such feelings, you will keep delaying your life, your success, your happiness. You may think that it is just a life phase, but in reality, now you are creating a pattern that will later become your identity. Okay? So, to step out of sadness or depression for no reason at all, stop treating it as something special. When you see that the phase where there were genuinely issues in your life has been resolved, and what remains are just the after effects of it, trying to stay in that comfort zone, in that safe zone. Get busy with your schedule and your life goals. Do not sit idle. Let your feelings fluctuate, but do not let your routine suffer or your life suffer because of it. Okay? Stop telling yourself that I am like this only. No, you are not. It is just a behavior, and behaviors can be changed. Changing an identity may be difficult, but changing a behavior is not. Okay? So don't make sadness your home. Analyze whether there is genuinely some feeling trapped behind it, or simply move forward in your life. Give your life some direction. Do not make it your comfort zone. Okay? Now comes another psychological trap where we keep ourselves shut even when we feel like speaking up for ourselves. There are so many incidents in our lives where one of our boundaries is crossed, and instead of speaking up, We kept ourselves quiet, later rehearsing the whole conversation in our mind. I should have said this or that, and regretting being silent. And this is normal for many of us. Instead of speaking up for ourselves, we choose silence. This usually happens when the mind gets trained to believe that speaking up creates problems, so it is better to stay quiet. In childhood or teenage years now, there are often many life incidents where you expressed yourselves, but you were neglected, ignored, silenced, or labeled sensitive or overreactive. So over time, the mind learns that speaking up creates problem, while being quiet means being safe. So basically, we choose the freeze mode instead of the flight or fight mode. Okay, and whenever our mind detects even a small danger in the environment now, it keeps our voice quiet. Moreover, now you may also keep silence to gain approval or acceptance, thinking that if you say your side, people will leave you or reject you. In doing so, you are keep disrespecting yourself, crossing your own boundaries and silencing your own voice. Okay, you start seeing conflict as a danger and silence as a solution to it. But nobody told you that by doing this now you are not solving anything. You are only delaying it, creating more anger, more resentment, and guilt inside you, along with the feeling of self hate. And then comes a stage where you get tired of all this, making yourself numb and emotionally distant. And people say that you have changed. And another reason we keep quiet now, it is our self-doubt. You may not be sure that you are right. So you may have accepted that maybe you are oversensitive or maybe you are expecting too much from others. And this usually happens now when in the past your perspective was invalidated by others. When you were taught that others' comfort is valid, but your feelings are optional. So you constantly cross examine what you are going to say and how you will say it. Because deep down, you have already accepted that you are wrong. And then you fall into the pattern of tolerating people, hoping that someday they will understand you. But I tell you that day is never gonna come. Okay, so to break this pattern now, start speaking up for yourself. It is a learned skill, not something everyone is born with. Okay, yes, you will stumble, you might use the wrong words, you might get loud or hasty, and yes, people may feel uncomfortable, but with time now you will learn it, just like developing any other skill. Except that you will not get perfect immediately, but with time and practice. Okay, so start small. Say clearly, I did not like this or that. Okay, do not over explain yourself. Just a few genuine words are enough. And yes, some people may start distancing themselves from you. Please let them be. Those are the people who were with you because of your silence. And yes, people may not change once you start doing this, but you will start making space in the world for yourself and for your perspective. Okay, so this way you will stop betraying yourself, disrespecting yourself, and your mind will learn that speaking up is not dangerous. It is the way to be free, to be authentic, to be you. And moreover, if you do not find your voice worthy enough to be heard now, how can you expect the world to listen to you? Okay? Now let's move on to the last but not the least mental trap we all fall into, which is when you feel exhausted without doing anything. There are days when we did not do much physical activity or no physical activity at all. Yet, as the day ends, we feel completely exhausted or drained with no energy for any work. Why does this happen? Because our mind was thinking too much, running faster than any physical movement, replaying those past movements like I should have said this, done that, fearing what will happen next or what if you fail. All those future fears keep the mind running at the speed of light from one thought to another. And another way of this exhaustion happens when there are pending decisions in our mind that we have not processed yet, or tasks that require your action, but you keep saying that I am not in the mood or I am busy, basically bargaining with life. All these stuck decisions and inactions keep draining our energy day by day. So you are not exhausted because you have done something tiring, but because your energy gets seeped into avoiding the work, the conversation you're avoiding, the risk you are not taking, the task you are not doing. And that is where your energy gets sucked in. And until you fix this, no amount of rest can make you feel light or active. Okay, so the first solution is make a list of all those pending decisions, those conversations, tasks, and get them done. And then when you rest, actually rest. Do not make your mobile phone a replacement for rest, because rest with a screen is not real rest. Okay. Next, make your body a little uncomfortable every day, whatever it is for you. Hitting the gym, jogging, aerobics, any physical stress releases mental stress. Okay, so do some movement. And moreover, do not keep your words inside when you feel like speaking up for yourself. It is like a poison that will make you feel more exhausted from the inside, eating you away slowly but surely. Okay, do not pause your life, give your life some direction and move forward with it instead of staying stuck, because staying stuck eats away more energy, willpower, and mental space than moving forward. Okay, now pause for a moment and ask yourself, which mind trap am I stuck in right now out of these five? And then, what is one action I will take today to step out of it? Okay, that's all for today. Thank you for listening. If this resonated with you, like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more such insights. I will see you in my next video. Until then, take care of yourself and keep moving forward.